listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio, man. We are here once again. We have another true honor having a guest today. He is the CEO and founder, and he is also a coach. But we're going to be talking about his business today. His website, oasisofcourage.com. He is the one and only Zach White, but he also has a podcast himself that we probably get into a little bit today. First and foremost, Zach, welcome to the show. How you doing, man?
Shamaya, I am freaking fantastic. So good to be with you.
Man, appreciate you taking time. Like I said, you are a founder and CEO, and that business name is Oasis of Courage. It's a fast-growing company, and it's very unique, and it's a proven coaching system program for people who are exclusively into the engineering world. So with that, man, kind of tell us about what you do, man.
Shamaya, I am an engineer myself by training. And as they say, once you're an engineer, you're always an engineer. If you know one, then you know what I'm talking about. And what I do now with Oasis of Courage is take everything that I learned through my own failure, my own burnout, the rock bottom experiences that I had in my career, and the lessons from healing and recovering from that, and the breakthroughs I had coming out of that experience. We've created a coaching program, a system for engineers and people in technology, IT, software, to help them avoid those challenges. So to live the career of your dreams and the life of your dreams without making the same mistakes I did. That's what we do all day, every day at Oasis of Courage.
And with that said, you know, when you're helping engineering leaders achieve that breakthrough with results without burning out, what is your core value with your strategy?
Shamaya, I'll relate it to your podcast. I love how this is live your purpose, regain your focus. And in the times we live in today, there's really nothing more important than getting those two things right. And our system is called the Lifestyle Engineering Blueprint. And, you know, my clients have engineering degrees in mechanical or industrial or software engineering, but becoming a lifestyle engineer is where you get clear on your purpose, your values, your vision, and have the courage to step into the arena of your life and live it out. And that courage, it's not trivial. I mean, there's a lot of things that hold us back, all of our commitments, all of the world around us, a lot of things we're afraid of. And so what we do is help these leaders first in their mindset and in their heart, in their courage to be able to act in the face of fear, but then give them the strategies and the tools in how to go create bigger success at work while loving their life. Because, I mean, I know you probably say the same thing, Shamaya, that success without fulfillment is still failure. We don't want salaries and paychecks, but hating your life. And so we want to give these leaders both.
And that's a key point, because that is a personal decision that the individual has to make. And until they make that decision, it's almost like when you're driving a car with the GPS system and you lose connection. If you don't have another plan to get back on course, you might get lost.
That's a good metaphor, man. You're absolutely right. And a lot of people wake up in their careers one day, 4 years, 8 years, 12 years down the road, wondering, how did I end up here? This is never where I intended to take my life. And they're unhappy and they're burned out. And that's a hard place to be. So getting help when you feel that way, reaching out, having that courage to just say, hey, I can't do this on my own. That's a big step. And I love that you use the word decision, Shamaya, because it really does begin with that. A true decision to cut off from any alternative that I need to do something to get my life back on track.
We're talking to our guest today, Zach White. He's the founder and CEO of Oasis of Courage. You can go to that website, oasisofcourage.com, and also go to the website. It was just a page on the website for his podcast. Happy Engineer Podcast is oasisofcourage.com/Happy Engineer Podcast. And just put a dash between Happy Engineer and dash between Engineer and Podcast, and you get right to that website. With your experience when you're helping your clients, How do you help them forget the idea of a balance of work and life in order for them to avoid burning out?
That phrase that's so popular, work-life balance, Shemaiah, the problem with that is it implies in our mind this model that on one side is my work and on the other side is my life. And somehow I need to get the perfect amount of both in order to experience this thing we call balance. And the problem with that is work is a part of your life, not separate from it. And what I see with our clients who struggle with this so much, it almost creates like something that feels more like a bipolar disorder than balance, because they're trying to make up for work they don't love by just having more fun or partying harder on the weekends. And so we want to scrap that entire model. Don't think about it as a scale where on one side is work and one side is life. And if work's not too good, you need to have more fun. And if you're working too many hours, you need to cut back. It's like, it's not about that. It's about creating a whole life balance. So how do we do that? Well, we need to look at everything that you value deeply, your core values, and how that shows up in each domain of your life. You might be, thinking of myself, I'm not just a CEO and a boss, but I'm also a husband. I'm also a son. I'm also a brother. I'm also a friend, and looking at these roles that we play. And so Shemaiah, if you want to experience balance that leads to success, it's about intention and decision in each area to make sure that we're constantly assessing, how am I doing across the whole picture? And am I making decisions rather than living by default? Am I designing the life I want instead of letting other people choose for me? Are these my priorities or someone else's?
And that's a great point, because we can spend our days just kind of going throughout the day's time slots, if you will, that's on the calendar, versus, like you're saying, making sure every slot has some kind of value that you deposit in there. And then by the time your day is over, you can look back and be like, okay, I gave some good effort, because I feel like that's part of the equation of success. Are you able to look at each day? Am I taking a step further than I did, the day before?
Yes. And people who feel a lack of motivation, Shemaiah, it's typically because they're not able to measure that progress toward a goal or a vision of their life that they've chosen. If you're just showing up at work, doing the thing, going through the motions, and you don't feel any sense of growth or any sense of progress towards something you care about, your purpose, that's going to leave you with a lack of motivation, that bored or even depressed kind of emotion.
Man, that's some good stuff, man. And speaking for the engineer world, for the young engineers out there who are looking to build a successful career, I mean, you're definitely someone who's qualified to talk about this. What advice would you give to the younger people who are interested in maybe get into the tech industry?
So the first thing for anyone who wants to get into engineering and technology is to recognize that what will limit your career at the start is where your technical skills are. So on day one, whether it's coming right out of college, or if you're going to a boot camp, or you're making an industry change or career change, people are going to look at your technical credentials. Do you know how to do great engineering? But after you get into the job, I have never had a client yet whose primary barrier to growth in their career, to get that next promotion, to make it to manager, to make it to director, make it to VP, it's never been the case that a technical skill gap was their number one barrier for the next level. It's part of it. We need to keep developing that skill, that competency, our ability to keep up with the fast-moving, fast-paced technology, especially with everything happening in AI right now. I mean, there's a lot changing, and we do need to keep up. But it's these soft skills, communication skills, confidence, courage, the ability to communicate with others, build relationships and rapport quickly, to sell. These kinds of skills are what separate people whose careers skyrocket and people who get stuck for a decade at one level and wonder why everybody else is getting the promotions. So that's my advice for you. If you're brand new focus on your technical acumen to get in the door. But once you're working, you need to just as strongly or more so focus on developing yourself in these areas of personal development that are not around technology, because that's what's going to hold you back in the long run.
Once again, talking to our guest, Zach White. You can go visit his website, oasisofcourage.com. And real quick, when it comes to your coaching, you do one-on-one coaching, but you also do group mastery and accountability. For our audience, kind of tell us what's the difference between the two.
Yeah, coaching shows up in a lot of forms, Shemaiah, and everybody has a sweet spot where they feel they get the most. And those one-on-one calls are great because you can go really deep. You can be really vulnerable. You can open up to your coach. But what I've also found is that typically the formats of coaching that you don't enjoy as much can often be the most powerful for you if you'll come into it with that coachable spirit and an open mind. Because a group dynamic takes more courage to open up, to share your weaknesses, or to ask a question where you feel a little bit of self-doubt, or maybe you feel stupid for asking that question. And then one of your peers comes in and says, oh my goodness, I had the same problem. I have that same question. And suddenly you get connected to these like-minded leaders. And what you thought was going to be a waste of your time ends up being a transformational session in a group environment. And so the reason we do these mixes of different modalities of coaching in all of our programs is because we want to shape you as a whole person. And a lot of times your favorite way to be coached is great for one area of your life, but those things that you resist can actually be the most important areas for breakthrough. And so if you're looking for a coach, if you're looking for solutions to get ahead in your career, I'd encourage you not to limit yourself just to online courses or just to one-on-one coaching or just to group coaching, because it's a mix of these that helps you stretch your mind and accelerate your growth in every part of who you are.
And you personally are invested into this because everyone has a story why they started a platform or organization. So for the audience, kind of tell them why your program is different from the others.
Yeah, I went through an incredibly challenging burnout of my own, Shemaiah. And in short, I went from everything looking so good, came out of college, got a great job, moving up in my career, married, living the dream. And then one day I look up and all of that had evaporated. I found myself depressed, divorced, embarrassed, and just asking myself, what happened? Like, how did my life end up here? How did I drift this far off course? And none of those promotions or the size of my paycheck mattered when I was in that emotionally depressed and just rock bottom place. And so coming out of that, I hired my first coach, and being coached transformed my life. And I learned so much during that time and realized, hey, there's some things about engineering and this unique environment that need to be added and changed for this to work for me. And that's what then became the core of the lifestyle engineering blueprint and the work that we do. So my passion for this is so deep because I've been there, I've lived it, and I know how much it hurts to work so hard and feel like you're not getting anywhere that you want to go in life, or even worse, to feel like you're going backwards. And you don't have to wait for rock bottom to make these changes. And I just beg of people, don't wait until you hit rock bottom. It's like, please make these investments into yourself before you get to that place where you're desperate for it, because you can make change in your life from two places: desperation or inspiration. And it's a whole lot easier to do it from a place of inspiration before you get to that place where I was.
Man, another good point, man. You dropping some points today, man. So, man, with your podcast, Happy Engineer Podcast, I'm sure this is similar to what you're doing with your main platform, but kind of share with the audience a little bit about your goal with your platform for your podcast.
Yeah, I recognize, Shemaiah, not everyone's ready for an investment into coaching right now. And we wanted to get this message and this content out to as many leaders around the world as we can. And the Happy Engineer podcast is bringing this same core of how do you build your career while balancing your whole life, and most importantly, being happy along the journey. Don't wait for one day when you get that promotion to be happy, or one day when you get that relationship to be happy. Let's discover happiness now. So the Happy Engineer podcast is where we have that conversation. And I share all of the same ideas and content that are part of our coaching programs for clients as well, just in these little bite-sized pieces that you can take action on right away. So if you're in engineering or technology, or you know someone who is, go check that out. It's a great place to get to know me and my work better, and just start to move forward in these things we talked about today.
And what's next for Oasis of Courage? What's some future plans that you see in the near future to expand your coaching services?
Yeah, the biggest thing, Shemaiah, is something that's been near to my heart for a long time, but COVID-19 kept us, slow to go into it. And that's live events, doing life and engineering together. So we had our first event ever as a full community at Copper Mountain, Colorado here in 2023. We're going to continue to create, face-to-face live events together, because there's one thing that, Zoom can never replace, and that's that opportunity to be in the room, to high five, handshake, and hug when people are really sharing deep parts of their life together and these breakthroughs. And I'll just be honest, brother, I love that face-to-face time, that interaction with clients. So live events is the next big thing. We want to expand and just create this unique place where engineers and people in technology can have the kind of conversations that are really not being had in the workplace, and in a way that's safe and vulnerable, where we create courage together. It's tons of fun.
You've been listening to Refocus Radio, talking to our guest, Zach White, and he's the founder and CEO of Oasis of Courage. You can go to his website, oasisofcourage.com, and you can check out his podcast that he is doing as well. And man, before we let you go, someone listening right now, and they're an engineer, they're ready to get started. What's the best thing that they can do when they contact you for them to be prepared?
Yeah, if you're ready now, if this message resonates for you and you want to take your career to the next level, I'll tell you what, just pick up your phone and text the word lifestyle to the number 55444. It's that one word, lifestyle, all together. Don't worry about the caps or anything, to the number 55444. And Shemaiah, we'll get you a link. We'll get you on my calendar. I still take all those sessions myself, and we'll get you 75 minutes of free coaching. And all you need to do is bring yourself, your energy, and that focus. And we're going to help you get ready to take the next steps. And if it's a fit to work together, we'll talk about it. But either way, we're going to make sure you get a ton of value from that call. So that's a gift for anybody who's been tuned in. Love you, appreciate you, and we want to help you get to where you want to go in career and life. So lifestyle to 55444. Shoot me a text.
And also check out his podcast that he does for exclusive for engineers, the Happy Engineer podcast. Once again, Zach White, you can go to his website, oasisofcourage.com. I want to say thanks again, man, for taking time talking to us today.
Shemaiah, it's a pleasure. I love what you're doing. Just want to acknowledge you. So much value in the work that you put out every single day. It's absolutely amazing. So thanks for the invite, brother.